Hello, this is wmpyr. For today's lesson, I'm going to be working with some basic weapons and going through some basic methods of attack and showing you how they relate. So the first one, let me start off with a stick. So the stick is an impact weapon, and let me cover three basic strikes, okay, or three basic ways of attack. And the first one is this. Okay, so the movements that I did right now are basically your slashes. Even though the stick does not have an edge, we still call it a slash. This is because just historically, long time ago in the Philippines, they were originally using bladed weapons, something similar to like a machete or a short sword, somewhere in between that. They were using weapons like that. And then in their training, in their practice, they felt like they needed something better for practice, and that's when they started using the sticks. And even though they went to the sticks for training, they were still thinking about bladed weapons. So that's why, to this day, we still call those slashes, okay? Because, these are representative of a bladed weapon. Now, the sticks became their own legitimate weapon on their own right, eventually. And in some styles, the stick pretty much replaced the bladed weapon and became the main thing, okay? But traditionally, historically, this was a representative of a bladed weapon. So I'm still gonna call it a slash, okay? 1, 2. So just to, to honor the historical, the history about that. So we'll still call that a slash, even though it doesn't cut. And then the second type of attack is your stab right here. It's obviously very common and can be done from multiple angles, okay? It doesn't have to be just right here. The third type of attack is what I'm going to call a strike. So you just basically ramming the stick into the target. And how is this different from the first one? Well, the first one, like I said, is a slash. This versus this. So I hope you can see the difference there. So just ramming it straight in like this versus like that, where I think the main difference there you're going to see is more of a follow-through motion versus ramming it in, straight in, okay? So those are the three major types of basic attacks. So now let me go ahead and do those three attacks with the knife, okay? So number one was the slashes. 1, 2, 3, boom, boom, boom. So as you can see, you can slash no problem. Obviously, this is a blade, even though it's not as long as a short sword. And then the next one is a stab. So stab, I mean, it's just made for stabbing, obviously. So stabs are easier to do with a knife than a stick, in my opinion. And then the last one is the strike, boom, like so. Okay, you're just ramming the blade edge into the target. When you ram it in like that, right, with a bladed weapon, I don't call it a strike. I call this a hack. Okay, so with the same technique done with an impact weapon like a stick, where there is no edge, we're calling it a strike. Okay. But when there is an edge, then I call it a hack. What's the difference between a hack and a chop? In my opinion, really nothing. I get the impression that with a chop, you're chopping something off. So a hack may lead to a chop, but that part really isn't important. That's just my impression. But the main idea here, you want to call it a hack or you want to call it a chop, that's fine. You're ramming the edge into the target. You're not pulling and causing a cut that way. You may still cut just by ramming it in, but it's pretty much brute force where you're just shoving the edge into the target. So that's what I, once again, call a hack. So now, I want to go ahead and go to the tactical pen. So when you go to a tactical pen, it's difficult to do the strike. Obviously, we can't hack because there is no blade edge. And because it's so short, it's difficult to do that. So we'll bypass that. We'll skip that. And of course, the stab is not a problem at all. Boom. You can stab easily. And of course, especially in the reverse grip, here's your stab. So the stab works extremely well. The question is, what about the slashes, right? So the slashes with a tactical pen, can you do them? And in my opinion, it's a 100% yes. It's just that there is no blade edge, and it's not really long enough to do the same thing, treat it like an impact weapon and do that. So what I like to do is I like to use the point, because there is kind of a point, and the stick, a lot of times sticks don't have that. So we're going to utilize that point, and we're still doing the angles of attack like so. So when you are doing the slashing motions like that, but I'm focusing on the point, and I'm doing this. So instead of a slash, I change the vocabulary and call it a scrape, because you are scraping the tip, the point, into the target. But it's still the slashing motion, so please don't get confused with that. So if you do a slash with an impact weapon, such as a stick, then I just call it a slash with an impact weapon. Even though it doesn't cut, just still call it a slash. Now when you get a bladed weapon, like a knife, and you slash, then to me that is a true slash, okay? You are getting a legit slash. Now, with something like this that doesn't have an edge, but it does have a point, then you can get the slashes, but these slashes I call now a scrape. So, you know, just trying to get the vocabulary clear to you guys. Hopefully you're not confused. If so, if you are confused, please ask me, and I'll do the best that I can in the comments below to explain. So anyway, defining it like this hopefully will make it easier for you in your training to distinguish. So thank you for watching, and take care, folks.